This is my review of Lords of the Fallen. It's not a perfect game, and it does have performance issues, but at its core, it is one of the best attempts at replicating the magic only From Software is able to produce. First, let's talk about the combat. Although none of the weapons will ever rival my Blades of Chaos, we are given quite a few options to choose from. Early in my playthrough, I found that dual-wielding maces was an extremely viable option. And even though I am playing a hybrid caster build, my left hand was not busy with a catalyst thanks to Lords of the Fallen's brilliant ranged firing mode. You can seamlessly switch between close and ranged combat at the click of a button, and you will need to use long-range weapons, whether it's spells, bows, or throwables, because there are a whole lot of ranged enemies, but luckily, you are well equipped to deal with them. Combat feels good, even though it takes some time to get used to. Some weapons have animations that will thrust you forward quite a bit, but once you learn your weapon, it is no longer an issue, but an asset. The clever feature that differentiates Lords of the Fallen from the other Souls likes is the parallel worlds of Axiom and Umbral. In terms of combat, Umbral might be terrifying for the faint of heart. You will be swarmed by enemies, and the longer you stay in Umbral, the stronger the enemies will become. Here's the twist. Embracing Umbral as a farming method can be extremely effective, as you get a multiplier that earns you more currency, as much as 3 times the souls you would earn in Axiom. There are 3 schools of magic at your disposition. Rogar, which is the magic of the god of chaos Adir. Radiant, the holy magic of the god Aureus. And Umbral, the magic of the goddess that rules the Umbral realm. Rogar magic will scale with your Inferno stat. Radiant magic will scale with your Radiant stat. Umbral magic will require you to invest in both stats, which will take a lot of your available stat points. However, it does pay off by being the most powerful school of magic. Enemy variety is acceptable, and boss design is above average. Some bosses have clever gimmicks that involve using the Umbral wisps to your advantage. Difficulty is pretty much what you would expect from a Souls-like. You will die, often. Levels will often have swarms of enemies, and for most fights you will be outnumbered, and that's why positioning and strategy is crucial. This is an action RPG at its core, and if you don't stay on top of leveling up your gear, you will soon face an insurmountable wall. If you happen to die after a glorious battle, not all is lost. Much like Sekiro, you get a second chance at life, and you will be resurrected in the world of Umbral. This feature gives the player another chance to emerge victorious. But if you die in Umbral, it's over, and you will lose all your souls. Now let's talk about level design. This is the main issue that soft gaming journalists will have with the game. The levels are extremely complex and have a lot of hidden areas with valuable loot. You will often be opening shortcuts and backtracking to find areas you missed. The parallel worlds adds an extra layer of complexity to the level design, as some areas are only accessible by venturing into Umbral. Contrary to gaming journalists' beliefs, a complex and intricate level design is actually a staple of the genre. With Lords of the Fallen, we are back to the glorious level design the Dark Souls series started. There is an imminent sense of danger. It is clear that you are in a world that is out to kill you at every turn. The world is interconnected in a way that makes sense. And it's clear that a lot of thought went into world building and level design. The story and lore is delivered in a traditional Souls-like way. Cutscenes are minimal, and the story leaves a lot to interpretation. The soundtrack is definitely nowhere close to From Software standards, but do keep in mind that this is a much smaller studio. Lords of the Fallen is visually impressive. It's one of the few Unreal Engine 5 games that released this year, and when it runs well, it is a technical masterpiece. We will talk about performance in just a moment, but it is clear that this game is extremely ambitious. The fact that 2 universes are being rendered in real time is not a brand new feature in the gaming genre. but it is the first time that it is used in a Souls-like, and it clearly paid off for the developers. The world is vibrant, and the particle effects are stunning when rendered properly. Unfortunately, Lords of the Fallen is riddled with performance issues. I am playing on a PlayStation 5, and there were several instances where the frames drop even when prioritizing performance. Upon moving into certain areas of a level, sometimes the screen will stutter, and co-op is a mess. Every time you revive your partner, the game will glitch severely, and it is definitely off-putting. The biggest issue I had when it comes to performance was with the cutscene after killing Pieta. The blood was rendered so poorly, and the textures had a catastrophic failure. What must have been an incredible cutscene for some was a laughingstock for me, which is really unfortunate because I found Pieta to be an incredible first boss. She was a true skill check, and the fight was challenging but fair. I know that the studio will be hard at work to fix these performance issues, but it seems like the choice to make this game in Unreal Engine 5 might have been a double-edged blade. The performance issues are not a deal breaker for me, even though they do damper the whole experience. We had a similar issue with Jedi Survivor where the game is fantastic but will receive a poor initial reception because of performance issues. It is unfortunate the game released in this state, because NeoWiz proved just a month ago that a smaller studio can release a game that runs perfectly on all platforms. Lies of P uses Unreal Engine 4, and that's probably why it was easier to optimize. The developer of Lords of the Fallen might have bitten off more than they can chew, and time will tell if they are able to patch the game in a reasonable amount of time. That being said, at its core, Lords of the Fallen is an excellent game. It truly understands what makes a good Souls-like. A strong combat system, a fully fleshed out magic system, and a wide arsenal will make replayability more interesting. Complex level design that doesn't hold the player's hand, an ominous sense of danger, gives a feeling that only a proper Souls-like can deliver. Performance clearly needs improvement, but overall, this is an extremely enjoyable experience. It is not on the level of From Software, nor that I think it would be a fair comparison, since we are dealing with a brand new studio with a much smaller budget. With all of that in mind, I am confidently giving Lords of the Fallen an 8 out of 10. If you enjoyed this review, make sure to subscribe to the channel. I am currently planning my trip to Egypt, or possibly Central America. Time will tell. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next video.